Dialogues. Today we have with us Maj Gen Kakar. He is our academic head. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Dushyant.
As you all are aware, the flyer would have indicated to all of you that today we are going to discuss Balochistan. क्या बलूचिस्तान पाकिस्तान मोर स्पेसिफिकली मुनीर के हाथों से फिसला जा रहा है? अगर फिसल रहा है तो उसका कारण क्या है और आगे क्या होने वाला है? These are the three basic questions which we will be answering and which we will be seeking response from General Kakar. Uh, as you all are aware, acting Prime Minister of Pakistan has taken oath and he belongs to Balochistan. And incidentally, just to mention to all of you, he also happens to be Anwar ul Haq Kakkar. And today, to dissect him, we have General Harsh Kakkar. Let's see how the program goes ahead. So, to begin with, I will just set the stage, and thereafter, General Kakkar will take over. First of all, as you all are aware, Balochistan is is the largest province of Pakistan, but it has the least amount of population. Balochistan has had a very checkered history. It has had almost three uprisings. Reasons are many, but the latest one was, as you all know, it was the rape of a doctor by allegedly a Pakistani army person who later on who could not be even he was not even given any punishment, etc. So therefore, people have gone against him, and thereafter a plethora of parties came up, which have been opposing the Pakistan government in Balochistan. To name a few, on top of the list is the Balochistan Liberation Army. It was led by Baloch Mari, but later on he was killed in 2007. Therefore, his brother, who's also in he's abroad, Har Mari, who is leading the Baloch Liberation Army. It has almost 3,000 fighters and it is looking for a greater Balochistan, which includes the Iranian and the Afghan Baloch in its fold. How far they will be able to succeed in this? Is it a far cry? ये बाद में देखा जाएगा, समय के साथ पता चलेगा कि उनकी डिमांड कितनी कितनी हासिल कर पाएंगे वो। दूसरी जो पार्टी है बलोच रिपब्लिकन पार्टी है, इसको ब्रह्मबक बुक्ति लीड कर रहे थे, जो कि इस समय स्विट्जरलैंड में है, एग्जाइल में है। अकबर बुक्ति उनकी किलिंग के बाद उनके जो ग्रैंडफादर थे अकबर बुक्ति, पाकिस्तान आर्मी ने 2006 में उनको मार दिया था। उसके बाद वो स्विट्जरलैंड एग्जाइल में चले गए थे, ब्रह्मदक बुक्ति। नेक्स्ट है बलूच रिपब्लिकन आर्मी। ये बलूच रिपब्लिकन पार्टी की ही एक आर्म्ड विंग है, तो ये भी काफी एक्टिव रहती है। दूसरी है बलूच नेशनल मूवमेंट, ये भी इंडिपेंडेंस की डिमांड करती है और इसको गुलाम मोहम्मद बलूच ने एस्टेब्लिश किया था, जिनकी भी पाकिस्तान आर्मी ने मौत कर दी थी। उसके बाद नेशनल पार्टी लेड बाय अब्दुल मलिक बलूच है। ये भी एक मॉडरेट फैक्शन है और इलेक्शन में हिस्सा लिया है, सेंटर ऑफ लेफ्ट की इसकी लीनिंग है। और नीचे वाली जितनी पार्टीज बता रहा हूँ वो मॉडरेट हैं और इलेक्शन में कहीं ना कहीं इन्होंने हिस्सा लिया। बलूचिस्तान नेशनल पार्टी लेड बाय अख्तर मंगेल। अख्तर मंगेल के बारे में इस समय बड़ा एक्टिव चर्चा हो रही है, क्योंकि ये खुश नहीं है। ये देवर पार्ट ऑफ द पीडीएम, जो प्रोग्रेसिव डेमोक्रेटिक मूवमेंट था, उसके पार्ट थे और इनको कंसल्ट नहीं किया अनवार उल हक कक्कड़ को एक्टिंग प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनाने के लिए। वो बिल्कुल ही एक अनजान अजनबी छोटी सी पार्टी के लीडर थे, जिनको कि वो एक्टिंग प्राइम मिनिस्टर बना दिया गया। और लास्ट में है बलूच स्टूडेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, विच वाज क्रिएटेड अगेन इन द लेट 60s। ये ऑन एंड ऑफ एक्टिव रहती है और ये वायलेंट एक्टिविटीज भी करती है, बट इसका क्या है कि सभी के साथ मिल जाती है, जिसकी जिसकी तरफ थोड़ा झुकाव होता है उस तरफ ये मिल जाती है। अब सुनने में आया है कि ये सारी जो पार्टीज हैं, जो आई मीन मॉडरेट को छोड़ करके सारे एक बैनर के नीचे आ गई हैं, और उससे ज्यादा ये टीटीपी के साथ भी इन्होंने आपस में मेलजोल बढ़ा लिया है। अब आज की डेट में अगर देखा जाए तो बलूचिस्तान पहले इतना रेडिकलाइज नहीं था। जैसे कि बोला गया कि 3 अपराइजिंग्स हुई हैं और लेटेस्ट वन जो हुई थी वो डॉक्टर के रेप के बाद हुई थी। स्टेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस ये मानते हैं कि लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की प्रॉब्लम बलूचिस्तान में पाकिस्तान आर्मी ने क्रिएट की है। और ये एक बड़ी सोचने वाली बात होगी कि ये इस पूरे बलूचिस्तान को हाथ से जाने में पाकिस्तान आर्मी का ज़्यादा बड़ा हाथ रहा है और बीएलए ने पिछले 10 सालों में काफ़ी ट्रैक्शन गेन किया, खास तौर से जो सीपेक के आने के बाद, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि उनके रिसोर्सेज यहाँ से बाहर जा रहे हैं। तो ये है बलूचिस्तान का नक्शा जो आपके सामने है, अ, जिसमें देखेंगे कि उनके पास ग्वादर पोर्ट भी है, सीपेक भी इधर से आ रहा है और ये कहीं न कहीं सारी लड़ाई की जड़ इसी इलाके में है और चाइनीज़ जो हैं, वो जो है इससे काफ़ी चिंतित हैं। इन सभी चीज़ों के बारे में डिस्कस करने के लिए हम जनरल कक्कड़ के पास जाएँगे। सर, एक ओवरव्यू दीजिए और आगे क्या होने वाला है उसके बारे में ज़रा बताइए। प्लीज़
Chalo,
गो अहेड।
first let me start with something more interesting. The
ओके।
Kakar clan.
ओके,
See, mere paas, I am in regular touch with the Kakar lot, which is there in Pakistan.
लवली।
They are spread across Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. In
यस।
fact, the Kakars in Balochistan is a very, very potent force. Potent in terms of political. उनके पास ये सेटअप है दैट आई मीन दे उनका जो जिर्जा होता है कक्कर्स का, इनफैक्ट दे बीन आस्किंग मी इंडिया में भी कक्कर्स का जिर्जा होता है, ऐसे नहीं, यहाँ नहीं होता,
नहीं, यहाँ नहीं होता।
but they said the jirjas that they have there are major decision making factors in Balochistan, and kakkars are on both sides of the border. मेरे पास अफगानिस्तान के kakkars have also been up talking to me.
सर, सॉरी टू इंटरफेयर सर, ये जिरगा क्या खाप की तरह ही होता है? कुछ इसी तरह का
एग्जैक्टली
हाँ,
एग्जैक्टली
बस
खाप की तरह होता है, और उन लोगों का जब
जस्ट टू
जिर्जा होता है, हाँ, ऑल द सीनियर कक्कर के जो क्लैन मेंबर्स है वो आके सेंट्रल डिसीजंस लेते हैं.
ओके।
मेरे को रिक्वेस्ट भी आ रहे थे फ्रॉम कक्कर्स फ्रॉम अफगानिस्तान,
हुँ, हुँ।
स्पेशली आफ्टर द तालिबान केम टू पावर. सो ये कक्कर क्लैन इज अ वेरी पावरफुल क्लैन. इनफैक्ट अगर आपको याद होगा 93-94 में पाक आर्मी चीफ थे जनरल वहीद कक्कर.
हाँ।
सो दे हैड अ वेरी solid hold in that part of Pakistan. अब
हुँ,
आ जाओ ऑन दी सिनेरियो.
हुँ,
ये जो थर्ड अपराइजिंग स्टार्टेड अराउंड 2005,
हुँ,
इट
यस,
वाजंट इतना मेजर नहीं था टिल अबाउट 2013 जब सीपेक आया. द मेन कंप्लेंट बलूचीज का ये है, गैस हमारे इलाके से निकल रही है, हमको कुछ मिल नहीं रहा. मिनरल्स हमारे इलाके से जा रहे हैं, हमें कुछ रिटर्न में मिल नहीं रहा. इनफैक्ट अगर आप पूरे पाकिस्तान को देखो, पाकिस्तान, बलूचिस्तान इज द पोरेस्ट प्रोविंस बट रिचेस्ट इन मिनरल्स.
यस,
Entire gas from Balochistan is sent to Punjab and nothing is there with the Baloch. So automatically वो जो गुस्सा आना है वो गुस्सा बिल्डअप हो रहा है ओवर टाइम. Now after Baloch का ऑक्यूपेशन हुआ in 48, पाकिस्तान has been attempting कि उनको सबड्यू करके रखे, and they were reasonably successful जब तक कि सीपेक नहीं आया. जैसे सीपेक आया, it became very evident कि in return for investment, Pakistan is going to hand over the resources of Balochistan to the Chinese. तब से the uprising has gained prominence. अब ये जो recent attack हुआ है ग्वादार में, चाहे पाकिस्तान एंड चाइना दोनों ने क्लेम किया है that there will be no casualties, और बलूच ने क्लेम किया है that there are 4 Chinese dead and 9 Pakistan soldiers.
यस,
पर simultaneously reports आई हैं through Pakistan channels that there has been an exodus of Chinese from Gwadar area.
ओके,
अब ये जो 12 जुलाई को अटैक हुआ था कोच पुलिस स्टेशन में,
हाँ
जहां
जी,
पे 12 पाकिस्तानी सोल्जर्स मारे गए,
करेक्ट,
नाउ वेरी फ्यू नो कि वो कोच का जो दैट टाउन ऑफ कोच is a vital link on the new road connecting Gwadar to Zinjia. It is a shorter route and it is a faster route. अब this attack indicates that they are very clear. We have to stop the CPEC at any cost. Now, इसमें अभी एक कहानी और आ गई, जैसे दुष्यंत ने बताया था. TTP is now moving down from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Agar TTP is going to move down from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa into Balochistan and launch attacks in Balochistan, it is not far. Jab the BRA, the Baloch Republican Army, which is a combination of all these forces, और टीटीपी हाथ जोड़ के काम करेंगे, हाथ मिलके काम करेंगे. अगर वो इकट्ठे काम करेंगे, पाकिस्तान इज इन डीप ट्रबल, विच इट एनीवे इज इन, पर वो सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम बढ़ेगा. अब बलूच हैज बीन रिक्वेस्टिंग इंडिया फॉर हेल्प. अगर आपको याद होगा 4 साल पहले एक ही बार पीएम मोदी ने बलूच की सपोर्ट के लिए फ्रॉम द रैम्पार्ट्स ऑफ द रेड फोर्ट ही मेड अ मेंशन.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बोला था उन्होंने.
अब वो जब उन्होंने बोला, सिंस देन द बलूचीज हैव बीन रिक्वेस्टिंग इंडिया फॉर रिकग्निशन. दे बीन रिक्वेस्टिंग इंडिया कि हमें एक ऑफिस यहां सेटअप करने दो.
हाँ जी.
इंडिया इज नॉट ऑफिशियली विलिंग टू सपोर्ट, बट डेफिनेटली इंडिया विल नॉट बैक डाउन अगर बलूच के ऊपर कुछ ज्यादा ही हमले हुए, इन टर्म्स ऑफ रेजिंग इट एट द ग्लोबल लेवल. आज याद रहे कि पाकिस्तान की जितना रोता है कोई सुनता नहीं है.
हाँ जी,
अगर इंडिया ने एक बार आवाज उठाई, then the world will take note. So if you look at it, the whole scenario is now moving south. और जैसे ये बिगड़ रहा है, the question that we need to look at is, will the CPEC succeed? Gwadar, which for China is a very crucial port, उसके reasons 2-3 हैं. Firstly, it is a deep water port, and it is one of the most important ports which will come up for China. Dusra, in the long term, it will be a naval base for China, which will be a pain for India and the Arabian Sea. Thirdly, for the Chinese, yahan se transshipment of their oil coming in from the Persian Gulf will save them the effort of getting trapped in the Malacca Strait. So Gwadar for China is for China. पाकिस्तान
Yes.
के लिए सीपेक का कोई मतलब नहीं है.
कोई मतलब
The
नहीं
only parties that are using the CPEC are the Chinese.
Absolutely.
अगर इंडिया ने इस्तेमाल करा, अफगानिस्तान तक नहीं जा रहा, then what good is the CPEC?
Correct.
So for Pakistan, it is actually just making payments for Chinese benefits. There is nothing flowing out. और इसके ऊपर बलूच के अटैक्स, उसके ऊपर टीटीपी के अटैक्स. So you look at the way the scenario is now going south.
तो यहाँ मुझे एक सवाल पूछना था आपसे. वो ये था कि the Chinese are heavily invested in this area. What do you see the Chinese doing in the future? Are they going to continue investing in it, or they are going to undertake some kind of a security measure, either through making Pakistan army as a proxy, or get their own mercenaries into this area? By mercenaries, I mean, security forces which can be hired from outside to ensure that their security is taken care of. भाड़ में जाए पाकिस्तान, भाड़ में जाए बलूचिस्तान, मैं अपना जो सीपेक है उसको सिक्योर करके यहाँ तक ले आऊंगा. मलाका डायलेमा जो है मेरा, उसका एक और आउटलेट मुझे हो जाएगा. सीमेक तो है ही है, इधर भी मैं एक. It's very happy. China is very happy when a country is undergoing some kind of a turmoil like you have it in Myanmar. वहाँ पे एक मिलिट्री जुंता आ गई है, और यहाँ पर भी उसी तरह का माहौल है. कक्कड़ जी जो हैं वो बिल्कुल एक्टिंग प्राइम मिनिस्टर के अलावा मुखौटा प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं. तो चाइना कैन डू एनीथिंग लाइक दिस. व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से ऑन दिस?
See, अभी as of now, Pakistan has raised 2 division worth of troops सिर्फ Chinese की सिक्योरिटी के लिए.
वो बहुत पहले किया था उन्होंने.
Correct. Attacks are continuing. Even now,
Yes.
China is willing to provide them funds for raising an additional force.
Correct.
Here, I want to read out a quote to you. अगर आपको याद है, अब्दुल बसीत पाकिस्तान का हाई कमिश्नर था इंडिया में.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हमारे यहाँ एनडीसी में टॉक देने भी आता था वो.
अच्छा. Now he is currently associated with the Raja Ratnam School of International Studies in Singapore.
In Singapore.
हाँ जी. He is associated with them. He is based in Pakistan.
Okay.
किसी ने उसको पूछा कि ये जो लेटेस्ट अटैक हुआ है ग्वादार में, इसके बाद चाइना क्या करेगा? Will China withdraw?
मैंने भी वही पूछा.
I am going to read his words out to you.
Okay.
The Chinese know what they have gotten themselves into
Very good.
and are learning the ropes of how to muddle through.
Okay.
बसित और भी कहते हैं कि CPEC will continue alongside terrorism.
Okay.
ठीक है, the reason is simple. अब इतना पैसा डाला है, can you stop?
संक कॉस्ट नहीं बना सकते इसको.
10 साल. Now, for the world, CPEC is the role model of BRI.
Yes.
You can't stop. So what are you
Correct.
going to do? You're going to pump good money after bad. अब
That's right.
चाइनीज के पास ऑप्शंस क्या रह गए? पहला ऑप्शन है you move your troops inside to protect your own people.
Correct.
This will further instigate the BLA and the TTP, the BRS, which is a combination of all these forces, and the TTP. Attack बढ़ेंगे. The second option, have Pakistan invest more in terms of troops, हो तो वो कर ही रहा है.
कर ही रहा है.
And the third option, which is possibly वो जो China लेगा, it is going to bribe Afghanistan. Why don't you pull back the TTP? Why don't you pull back the Baloch? Do not let them interfere. It is now going to look at bribing Afghanistan. और कोई ऑप्शन है नहीं. देखो, frankly, अगर आप देखो, अफगानिस्तान के 6 नेबर हैं. 5 के साथ तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
बिल्कुल.
सिर्फ एक ही रो रहा है, वो पाकिस्तान रो रहा है. Which implies that there is that, as far as the Taliban is concerned, they have affinity with the Baloch, they have affinity with the Pashtuns in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
Yes.
So automatically they are not going to stop. So with this, अगर आप देखो the whole area of Balochistan, we are now looking at Balochistan. अगर आप देखो, CPEC has got problems all through, but the
Yes,
main in Balochistan जहाँ ग्वादार है, ना ग्वादार उन्होंने कॉटन कर दिया है. Local fishermen are not allowed to go there. All who were
Yes.
using the port have stopped. So अगर आपने ये atmosphere create किया है, there is bound to be a retaliation.
तो अगला जो सवाल मेरा आपसे ये है कि इफ दिस इज द एनवायरनमेंट, हम बात नहीं करेंगे कि सीपेक का गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान में भी प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है, ऊपर रास्ते में कई जगह पे उसको मुश्किल का सामना करना पड़ रहा है, डैम्स हैं, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. हम खाली बलूचिस्तान पे फोकस करेंगे. इफ दिस इज द एनवायरनमेंट व्हिच Chinese and the Pakistanis combined have created, to the extent that Pakistan आर्मी ने डेथ स्क्वाड्स बनाए हुए हैं, पाकिस्तान आर्मी ने प्रॉक्सी फाइटर्स लगाए हुए हैं, सो एंड दे आर डूइंग ब्रूटलाइजेशन प्लस डिसअपियरेंस. ये सबसे बड़ी जो बात हो रही है, पिछले 2-3 साल में सैकड़ों लोग डिसअपियर हो गए हैं फ्रॉम बलूचिस्तान. इस तरह का अगर एनवायरनमेंट बनाते हैं, तो डोंट यू थिंक दैट they are now moving beyond independence to actually secession from Pakistan? क्या वैसी नौबत आने की गुंजाइश है? क्या ये सारी पार्टीज along with TTP can they achieve what you call as secession from Pakistan?
See, Dushant, इसको आंसर करने के लिए I want you to look at the way we acted.
Yes.
Northeast ले लो, J&K ले लो. Initially, we tried to subdue with force. It never
That's
worked.
right. That's
Then
right.
we went to winning hearts and minds.
Yes.
वहां पे सिनेरियो चेंज हुआ. It is by now Pakistan is still believing that they can subdue by force. अब कितना subdue करोगे by force? Today there is that Pashtun movement which is sitting in Islamabad and creating shindig in Islamabad, such that Shireen Mazari की बेटी को भी उठा लिया.
बिल्कुल. Yesterday there was an attack in Waziristan which has killed
Correct.
so many people.
13 outside laborers.
Correct.
Now, what is happening is, जितना आप pressure लगाओगे, that much is going to be the retaliation. You pick up one people, आपके पास 5 दुश्मन और खड़े हो गए.
तो ये तो सोशियोलॉजी की प्रिंसिपल है. मोर द रिप्रेशन, मोर विल बी द अग्रेशन.
और वही हो रहा है. So, Pakistan has got to get out of that mindset. वो निकल नहीं पा रहे. If there is an attack on a Pakistani post, जिस गांव से हुआ है, वो गांव का पूरा बाजार चला देते हैं. Now what happens? People switch. So as far as the Baloch are concerned, उनको ढूंढना नहीं है. People are volunteers to come in. And they are the suicide bombers who are coming in क्योंकि उनका frustration level इतना पहुंच गया.
correct.
And when you take it to this level, now the word will move. Today, the demand is not for an independent state. The demand is seceding from there. And but the worst problem of Balochistan, जो Baloch forces are not willing to accept, when you demand a greater Balochistan, which includes part of Afghanistan or part of Iran,
That won't
आपके
happen, I suppose.
आपके तीन दुश्मन बन गए.
Bilkul, that won't happen.
Now, when you demand that, you are going to face problems. So, your first stage of demand of the Baloch should be only of Balochistan here.
Yes.
Iran ka demand should follow next, or maybe later, may not be. But जब अगर आप सिर्फ यहाँ concentrate करो, you will find lesser pressure in Iran, because Iran के साथ भी you have a similar problem of the Baloch who are attacking Iranian forces. So ये problem खत्म हो जाएगा.
Okay. So the next question which I have from you is that, I read somewhere that at the time of partition, what happened was बलूचिस्तान में एक रेफरेंडम कराया गया था कि would you be part of Pakistan, right? The referendum did not seek an answer on would you like to be independent. What I know of is that most of the people at that point in time wanted to be independent rather than being part of Pakistan. In fact, and there were a number of voices, Bhukti वगैरह, जो कि who wanted to be with India, undivided India kind of a scenario. वो हुआ नहीं. So, इस समय there are a lot of leaders of Balochistan who are in exile. Say for example, Naila Hadri in Canada. ये जो रिपब्लिकन के वो हैं वो भी
हाँ, he is sitting in Switzerland. हाँ,
Mari is also in exile.
हाँ.
So all these people, do you think they have the resources and the wherewithal? What is their role in fueling this kind of a movement in Balochistan, as far as Balochistan's violence is concerned? I mean,
See,
are they likely?
I'll
Yeah.
take a little bit back. You see, in 47, Pakistan signed an agreement with the Kalat of Balochistan that you will remain as you are, there will be no interference.
Yes.
You will remain an independent state. वही ड्रामा जो उन्होंने कश्मीर के महाराजा के साथ
कश्मीर
किया.
के साथ किया उन्होंने.
48, Pakistan invaded and took over Balochistan. The Kalat was removed. Now,
बिल्कुल.
these people who are sitting abroad, उनका current job, and you'll find that happening a lot wherever जहाँ पे the UN meets, is raising the atrocities being committed in Balochistan.
Okay.
Now, India is representing the global south. The day we start giving them a backing, the day we start talking about atrocities in Balochistan, global pressure is going to mount on Pak, and the quantum of sort of actions that they are taking, it is going to only build up. And these people sitting abroad are actually the voice of the Baloch there. अगर आपको recently याद होगा that Baloch activist who was killed in Canada and her
Yeah.
body came back to Pak. She was assassinated by the ISI in Canada, in Toronto.
Mhm.
So basically, these are the voices, and which is what Pakistan fears is their ability to embarrass the country abroad. और वो अच्छी
So,
तरह कर रहे हैं.
my next question is a little tricky one. और वो ये है कि क्या आप देखते हैं इंडिया actively supporting in the near future, or they're going to continue doing a backdoor driving without being visibly seen, based on what Indian attitude has been in the past? And what is your recommendation? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to
नहीं
answer
नहीं,
it.
I will. No, no. Why
But
I
I
was
thought,
smiling? नहीं नहीं. Why I was smiling, Dushant, is until 2 years ago, when
yeah,
the Taliban came into power, हर 6 महीने बाद Pakistan would produce a new dossier
yeah,
talking of India supporting the Baloch rebels, arming them. और
correct.
वो डोजियर बड़े शानदार तरीके से SM कुरैशी would release it in Islamabad. He would fly down to New York and present it to the UN Secretary General. अब 2 साल से तो तालिबान बैठा है, बलूच
बिल्कुल,
के अटैक बढ़ गए हैं। अब
बिल्कुल।
वो इंडिया
तालिबान
वाला
बढ़ गया।
डोजियर डस्टबिन में चले गया।
तालिबान
अब
के
वो
भी बढ़ गया, तालिबान डोजियर माँग रहा है इनसे।
नहीं नहीं, अच्छा, अब वो अफगानिस्तान के ऊपर डोजियर बना के अगर यूएन सेक्रेटरी जनरल को देगा तो उसका कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, बिकॉज अफगानिस्तान इज नॉट इवन देयर इन द यूएन।
करेक्ट,
सो विद द बार्गेन द होल कहानी हैज गॉन डेड। नाउ यू लुक एट इंडिया। जहां तक इंडिया का सवाल है, currently we are off the picture, we are not saying anything.
करेक्ट।
But not saying anything doesn't imply India is quiet. What we need to do, frankly, I mean, I am speaking as a citizen of India and a person who's seeing what is happening. We are a nation that talks of human rights.
Yes,
We are a nation that criticizes such things everywhere.
yes.
If nothing else, let us support the battle for human rights in Balochistan.
That's the point. We are
Let us
barring the
support the
barring
suffering
the
of the people in Balochistan. We're not talking of independence. हमें उसकी
absolute.
जरूरत ही नहीं है बात करने की. हमें
वो
ये
तो
नहीं
अपने
कह
आप
रहा
आएगा।
that Balochistan should secede from Pakistan. हमें यही कहना है कि the Baloch are human. Treat them as humans. You cannot violate human rights in Balochistan. And we must raise this in global forums as support to humanity.
So, I take it that India should propagate the cause of Balochistan people.
Human
People.
rights.
People. I
Huh.
said people.
People. Yes.
So, like what we are doing in Afghanistan,
Correct.
we are investing in people. हम लोगों में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, किसी
Correct.
बीएलए में या बीएलआर में इनमें नहीं इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं.
No. We
But
only want
people
the
are,
people to be treated as humans and we
yeah.
want human rights to be respected. We are supporters of human rights anywhere globally.
Correct. So I think that is very well put by you that there is a scope for India to actually keep the issue alive through the people to people kind of initiative, which is essentially human rights violations, say no to death squad, say no to proxy killings, mercenary
Correct.
killing, etc., which is happening
Correct.
there. And I
Correct.
think we need to actively, barring Prime Minister's one statement जो आपने रेफर किया था 2 साल पहले,
Uh,
उसके अलावा कभी इसको दोबारा जिक्र भी नहीं किया गया हमारे द्वारा. आई थिंक इट्स टाइम दैट वी स्टार्ट डूइंग दिस थिंग एटलीस्ट इन द यूएन एंड अदर forums more as a responsible senior strong nation which is talking of like the others talk about. I think we
correct.
should also talk about in that manner. Sir,
And you
well
see,
said, sir.
एक बात है दुष्यंत, जब इंडिया बात करना शुरू करेगा,
हाँ जी.
the West will start speaking. The
At least in the
US,
current situation.
Europe will start speaking because India will take the lead. In
Correct.
fact, I feel the best forum to raise this should be by the PM in the G20.
G20. Yeah, you're
In
right.
the
You're right.
G20, a mention of human rights and protection of lives of Baloch, I think, will change the scenario.
But there is always this apprehension which is there in the Indian polity that if we start doing something like this, people will turn back and start talking about our perceived. I'm not saying they are correct, but perceived actions which we take. Mind you, today it is not
See,
so. The reality is different. But I don't think that should hinder us in any more now,
देखो, today,
given the situation which is
today
there in
when
the.
the Baloch people are speaking in the in the Global Human Rights Forum, when they are presenting the sort of scenario that is happening in Balochistan, हमारे पास रोज वीडियोस आते हैं सोशल मीडिया में which talk about how Baloch people are looking for their missing. We just need to propagate that, and that is coming from there. It is not being produced by India.
Yes. Last question before we go in for the question answer session, because today we're going to keep this whole thing within 1 hour. Uh, how do you see Balochistan in the short, medium, and the long term? Will it be a process of autonomy followed by either inclusion into Pakistan, like we have the Bodo National Council, etc., etc., or independence, like Bangladesh, what happened. इन दो extremes के बीच में, what do you think is going to be the Balochistan's fate as far as the future is concerned?
See, as far as the future is concerned, the Pakistan polity and the army leadership ने कभी इतना लंबा सोचा नहीं है. They're
अच्छा.
only looking at suppressing and suppressing. So what is going to happen is in the near term and in the midterm, the situation is going to worsen as far as the security scenario is concerned. The breaking away of Balochistan is very far distant unless things start rising even in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. Tabhi jaake the Baloch may possibly be able to get some freedom that we're looking at. What is most important is how close can the TTP and the Baloch combine?
That's the key.
That is the key. Agar TTP and Baloch combine and plan their operations together and swear allegiance to one another, the chances of first Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and then Balochistan becoming independent are very bright.
Okay. But
If they
how do you
if
see
they
how do you
don't
see autonomy?
combine,
How do you see how do you see autonomy as one of the factors now that you have an acting prime minister who is from Balochistan? He may
कुछ नहीं.
suggest he may
The
suggest something like this.
देखो, the acting PM, of course, मेरा name type है, but he's been placed there by Munir.
Yes.
Munir doesn't look at autonomy. His mindset doesn't go beyond that channeled vision.
Yes.
He's
Military
only
solution.
looking at consolidating his power and he doesn't want anyone to intervene as far as Islamabad and Rawalpindi combination is concerned.
Okay.
Because for this, you have to be able to think ahead. There is no one there who's willing to think ahead. Because Rawalpindi will not let you think ahead. So I feel that, this suppression scenario will continue until the pressure mounts. You have to realize the main kahani is the Chinese here.
Yes.
They are scared कि अगर थोड़ा भी मामला बिगड़ गया, as far as we are concerned, the entire CPEC is down the drain. And for them, the only way to suppress, after all, the Chinese experience has never been autonomy. Xinjiang, Tibet में कुछ हुआ है. Their only answer is suppress. And that is a mentality that has moved from China to Pakistan.
Okay.
Which is why you're seeing disappearances, you're seeing killings, you're seeing mass graves being discovered, you're seeing bodies suddenly being found on the roadside after a person disappeared 3 months ago.
And surprisingly, all their leaders have been assassinated.
That is
All
where
their,
it is.
including moderate,
Huh.
including moderate party leaders have been assassinated. Their second rung, but they also say, I mean, just this is an information which I am sharing, कि जो second rung की जो leadership आई है और जो जो नए cadres induct हुए हैं, they are the guys who are firebrand.
They are fire.
They are more motivated than the people who were there earlier, 2005 or before,
They
who
are
had
willing to risk everything. That is why
everything.
today the suicide bomber lot of Baloch
Yes.
is very powerful.
They say that I think it's called Majid Brigade, or I'm not very sure.
मैं
Or Majid
मुझे भी नाम स्ट्राइक नहीं कर रहा.
Majid
इनके
Brigade, I
इसी
think.
this is a fallout of the Afghan Taliban, which has got about 2 brigades of suicide bombers.
And there is
They are
also
deployed along the Pak border.
this linkage of supplying of state of the art equipment and
हाँ,
weapons to these people by Afghanis,
वो
right?
तो है.
So even that is a huge angle which may further inflame the
See,
situation in
you
Balochistan.
have to realize also, Dushant, the oil from Iran is being smuggled largely by the Baloch. That oil is
Yes,
being sold. Baloch have got no shortage of funds. Oil hai, drugs hai. I mean, there's no shortage of funds there. So for them
absolutely.
to buy the weapons from the US left weapons, there is no problem at all. Which is, if you notice some of the videos that came out, there was a Twitter handle of an Indian that which got blocked after immense complaints by Pakistan. He would every day put out the attack by the Baloch, the actual video and the sniper shots. The sniper rifles these guys held were the US ones.
Yes.
And they were damn well trained and they were damn good, and the Pak army had no chance in front of them.
Uh, Now that we have more or less dissected, bisected Balochistan, my parting question before we go to the audience, because 30 minutes I think we are just about to touch. Uh, as far as Pakistan is concerned, overall, acting prime minister is from Balochistan. Munir possibly thought, I'm talking of the winning of hearts and minds wali baat ki baat kar raha hu, that if they appoint a Baluch possibly as an acting prime minister, Balochistan situation will come under control. That has not happened, right? What do you see? And also, they have now passed a legislation or some order that until delimitation takes place, no elections to be conducted. So that means the hybrid governance of Pakistan will continue with acting Prime Minister Anwarul Haq and Munir hand in glove going ahead and ruling Pakistan for the next at least 7 8 months without interference from anyone. And they're unlikely to even bring the Nawaz Sharif into the country because they feel अगर वो आएगा तो वो फिर बोलना शुरू कर देगा and then the whole political situation will get further muddled up like what has happened with Imran Khan. Imran Khan को उन्होंने वो कर दिया है. तो क्या do you see this kind of a scenario where Pakistan, Munir and Anwarul Haq Kakkar emerging as the de facto ruler for the next 8 to 9 months now?
See, firstly, Anwarul Haq, when he was appointed, it's already led to a split in Balochistan's political
Yeah,
parties.
Mengal has gone ahead now, separated
Okay,
from.
everybody is aware that he is a man of the Pak army. He has supported them in the suppression of his own people only for his own political benefit.
Yeah.
He has no respect among the local Baloch. Okay. So that is the scenario. So as far as that is concerned, there will be no benefit at the end of the day. Now, if you come down to the scenario that is going to be there for the next 7 8 months, elections are not going to be there before January, February.
Okay.
तब तक how much are you able to push Imran out of the picture, break the PTI, smash everything out, create the environment कि आपको next कौन चाहिए? You want Bilawal Bhutto to come in? You want Shehbaz Sharif to come in? Both of
Or
them are licking the boots of Munir.
or
So
Nawaz
these
Sharif.
are the two. No,
Or
no.
Nawaz Sharif.
Nawaz Sharif, even if he comes, won't take the chair. These are all announcements.
Okay. Okay.
So Shehbaz and Bilawal are the two main guys. By the time Munir will decide, the elections will be played out. Chief Justice retires on 16th September. I think 9th September the president goes.
Yeah.
बेचारा जो भी बचा कुचा था इमरान के पास वो खत्म हो गया.
Hmm.
Faiz Isa is anti-Imran. So with the bargain, वो तो गया. Now they would have now decided. Now as Munir decides, तब elections होगा. और ये बहाना इनको मिला है, delimitation can carry on from 3 months to 8 months.
Absolutely. So you see things happening the way Munir is planning. Munir is
Yes,
now de facto the ruler of Pakistan. We
no
take
doubt.
it as that signals a bad news for India because कल या परसों उसने यासिन मलिक की वाइफ को अपना एडवाइजर बनाया है गवर्नमेंट ने अनवर उल हक कक्कड़ ने or
कोई
for
फर्क
what
नहीं पड़ता.
purpose, no, for
कोई
what
फर्क नहीं
purpose,
पड़ता.
why has he done it? No, so all these kinds of things which he started doing is an indicator for India that yeah, this guy may do something or he may be up to some antiques. So let us be more careful as far as our borders are concerned. We have to be secure in the sense that we should not take it lightly that पाकिस्तान में सब कुछ गड़बड़ चल रहा है तो हमारा जो सिक्योरिटी सिनेरियो है वो खराब नहीं होना चाहिए. तो आई थिंक टू दैट एक्सटेंट वी नीड टू बी लिटिल केयरफुल अबाउट क्योंकि जब भी पाकिस्तान में कुछ ऐसी चीजें होती हैं इंडिया में कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाती है. So that is just a message which I thought we should give it to everyone. We'll come to the questions, sir. It was a good,
हाँ
short,
हाँ.
fine discussion which we had. If Naila Hadri or Mari they are listening to it, I think they may not like the way we have gone ahead, but still, I think we should. We have been very impartial in our assessment, etc. So let me just give a few comments. which have come from the audience. If you want to comment something on it, you can do it. The acting PM, though from Balochistan, is not a Baloch. He's an ethnic Pakhtun. This is a
Pakhtun,
information.
but they're all
Yeah.
over the area. They are all over. They're spread from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa all the way to Balochistan.
And down to Gwadar also.
Ah, oi, that's part of Balochistan.
Uh, a strategic question which you may like to comment on.
It
Gwadar is
is.
the
This is a
deepest
fact. It is a
and
fact.
so that actually leads to submarine operations which can take place from this
Correct.
area,
मैं
and
कह रहा हूँ
therefore
ना, ग्वादर will become a Chinese naval base. इनको 40 साल के लिए तो वैसे भी मिल गया है.
will get. So that is a kind of a signal for India that we have to
हाँ,
be closely looking at this.
correct.
And this is again a information Balochistan. You had mentioned it also,
हाँ,
uh, part of a sui gas field. In fact, this is the basic main
Suez
contention
gas
between.
field even spills over into Iran.
Yeah, this has been the basic contention of both the
Correct.
sides.
हाँ.
मेरा इससे एक related question था, because this is one thing. It's often being said. I have read somewhere in a research report of, I think, Carnegie or some other think tank, which says that the Baluchis are actually not really keen on independence. They are annoyed at the resources of Balochistan being, you know, piped away by the Chinese. Do you think the independence track is weaker than the resources being pulled away, or independence also enjoys a equal amount of traction in Balochistan? Because that is a Western driven think tank report, so I know
No,
where
it
it is
is.
coming.
It
But
is. It is. In fact, the independence demand is why the main fight is taking place, and the willingness to commit suicide attacks basically is because they want to break free.
so that is one thing which our listeners must be aware of, that we should not just read and believe what is coming out from the west or the east or the north or the south. We have to use our own wisdom, and in our view independence is the number one driver, and thereafter the others fall into the line of why violence is taking place in Balochistan. Then you have, okay, this is about the Chinese have a business model wherein the development does not involve locals, and that is where the problem lies.
See, the Chinese model involves the entire raw materials coming from China, the entire control of the system by China. It is only at the grassroots level that you have some amount of local labor employed. Otherwise, it is everything by the Chinese. Their money, their raw materials, their management, their companies involved. So this naturally, I mean, reduces the quantum of jobs which should be flowing to the people.
So Samrat has asked a question, Patliputra, Bihar. Is it feasible for the Indian Army to offer logistical assistance to Baloch militants through Afghanistan, similar to the support extended during the 1971 war in Bengal?
Currently, no way, because
Yeah.
not with the current Afghan setup, it is not possible either through Iran or through Afghanistan. Both the nations are also concerned कि अगर Balochistan independent हो गया, and if it demands a greater Balochistan, it will be a problem. But you need not get involved in giving them the support here because they've got enough funds, they've got enough equipment. और उनको today in Afghanistan everything is available.
Yeah.
The only thing they want is diplomatic and moral support, and I think that is where we must be involved.
Yeah, this is again a good question, I would say. Bilateral trade between India and Bangladesh is poised to reach 20 billion mark, which is a very high figure if you compare Bangladesh's size. The division of Pakistan into smaller states could foster peace and prosperity in the region. This is the wish of Samrat. But will this
I don't
happen? Or
think I
we have
don't
already
think it
answered.
will be, because the smaller the states, you can imagine the nuclear weapons being distributed all over,
We did not discuss that.
and it is not something which is very ideal. But there are two thoughts to this. Some say smaller states. I feel a more stable Pakistan will be a better option.
Yeah. Uh, but I have a counter view to that. I feel a Pakistan in a simmering turmoil is a better option for India then a
Yes,
very stable. I would always put Pakistan looking at its western front and the eastern front and the internal front. Let it
correct.
also have a three front scenario. That is the best as far as India is concerned.
But you see,
To
it shouldn't
manage.
go beyond a level because
That's what
then,
I said. That's why I said simmering. It should
correct.
remain on the surface with the bubbles coming out
Ah,
here and there, so that it is forced to look inwards
correct.
and is not interfering into Indians' growth, etc. is concerned.
Ah,
This question we have answered it. You had mentioned about this. Iran and Afghanistan are a factor in the greater Balochistan thing. So we'll not labor much on it. Okay. In fact, he says that Iran has started calling it its part as Sistan.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Then we have another question. I think Smrat is very active. Balochistan could engage a trade with India similar to Afghanistan, but as part of Pakistan, such opportunities might not be feasible.
No, it won't.
I
Can't
don't think
happen.
I don't think it can happen. I think the best thing which India can do with Balochistan is continue to support the human rights violations which are
Yes.
taking place and continue to project it in international forums.
That is
That
what
would
we must do.
yeah, that would automatically create that internal turmoil which you are looking at to
Ah,
force Pakistan to either stabilize the situation through other means, or the situation continues to remain like this, or the Chinese are forced to go out of it. The best thing for us would be that the Chinese drop the idea of CPEC. I think that would
चाइनीज ने
be
ड्रॉप द आइडिया आप सोचो घाटा चाइना को घाटा पाकिस्तान को ना इधर के ना उधर के
हाँ, so अगर वो हो जाता है तो इंडिया के लिए बेस्ट सिचुएशन होगी
नथिंग
if
लाइक
the
इट
Chinese somehow start dropping or start cutting their losses. There are
करेक्ट
two ways. अब मैनेजमेंट में एक jargon होता है ना, एक sunk cost का है. So rather than getting into a sunk cost, they cut their losses, and the only way they can cut their losses is closer to Xinjiang, which is
करेक्ट
Gilgit-Baltistan. They start taking as much of electricity, as much of profits from the various six dams which they are creating in Gilgit-Baltistan, and dump this border thing because they already have a hold in Karachi. Karachi is much safer. Karachi is much safer than Gwadar as far as internal situation is
ओ
concerned.
यस
Later on they can have. Okay. Well said, Harsha, about human rights of Baloch people, and that's the comment. This is something which I think our audience must get to know about it, because India at Sharmal Sheikh had committed the mistake of accepting that India was supporting Baloch resistance. Now, this is
it's a
something we would
statement
like
which is
to
gone past its time. It's all dead and gone because nobody can say anything to us now that the Afghanistan is under the Taliban, which is
yeah.
why Pakistan is now confused whom to blame.
No, Jal Chaturvedi's statement was more in terms
Yeah,
of
I know. I mean, why
should
cannot
we
that? That is the past. That is come and that is gone.
yeah should we be
उस समय हुआ
overt in our support to Balochistan?
we
That
should
is
be
what his
overt
point was.
in our support to the Baloch human rights. This is basically
Discretionary.
the Baloch
Dis-
resistance movement.
Discretionary. And I would give
This,
the
no,
example
no,
of Balakot strike. We did not strike Pakistan. We struck the training camps of
correct.
terrorists located in Pakistan.
No, no, I
So,
agree.
some kind of a nuanced approach has to be evolved. Next question we have, where does okay, this is a question which you may like to answer. Where does incipient resistance of Sindh fit into the matrix? Because Karachi has sizable Baloch population. Yeah,
See,
there have been.
as far as Sindh is concerned, the SRA or the Sindh Republican Army and all that is all gone defunct. The Baloch or the Pashtun population within Pakistan is getting to be a problem because now even terrorism attacks are being reported from Punjab. There are arrests of the members of the TTB from Punjab as also Sindh. So basically, as also there are the Baloch population inside would be members of the various Baloch factions. So this is going to, at some stage, there's going to be a blow up within Pak. And the moment it starts spreading into Punjab or Sindh, it's going to be hell for Pakistan internally.
Okay. Next question is from Ananya Bhatt. Do you see India pulling another Bangladesh? We did it once, we can do it again. Losing Baluch and Sindh will make them a landlocked country, a perfect disaster.
See,
Yeah,
there
what
is,
a
there is no doubt, but Balochistan is way out of reach in terms of how do you approach Balochistan,
correct.
how do you support them, or how do you participate in it. So I think the best option for us, because Balochistan is not a Bangladesh which had a border with us, it's too
Yes.
far in. So the only option in such a scenario is to give them support, and possibly the support would be more diplomatic and humanitarian.
You see, Bangladesh, what we did and why we did had
Both
number of
different.
other had number of other issues. We were under a stress. Our own economy was, like going nowhere in that point in time. Our rate of
No,
growth,
even then, you see,
and,
secondly, Bangladesh had a border with us. It was
yeah,
surrounded by us.
correct. Border
Now
with
here,
us.
Balochistan has got no link with us.
Correct. So we are not in a situation like that in this particular case.
Ah,
We are only friend ka friend, dushman ka dushman wala situation as far as this particular scenario is concerned. Yes, if the Sindh there is a major uprising and it starts spilling over into India,
ah,
then there would be something which we may have to do. But that is an if and but
yeah.
situation, kind of a hedging strategy, which which will come much later. I don't want to disclose what we can do then, because that would be a discussion point for some other day. Okay, we have Aditya Kulsresht asking, sir, should India create a Balochi Mukti Vahini? I think everybody is trying to
See, the
rev up
fact is,
the
no,
rev up
the fact is, we don't need to create. They already exist. They are well trained, and they have got larger number of fighters than we even know. In
yeah,
fact, their suicide bombers and all are all highly motivated people.
yeah. And
So we really
just
don't have to give them any training. They are already trained, and they are banking on India for basically diplomatics and humanitarian support.
the international report on terrorism, taken out by the Global Terror Index, Maryland University, has said that BLA is the most lethal and the fastest growing militant organization in the world.
Ah,
I think if you can correlate with this, there is nothing more which we need to do.
correct.
The soup is already being served there, right? Okay, Colonel RP said, is India's approach to Balochistan going to be on similar line of support towards Afghanistan, which is almost like similar?
We've
We did
already
mention.
discussed it as to what
Yeah,
type of support we feel we
correct.
should give.
Yeah. Then we have
ये ठीक
Seema
है.
Haider. Seema
हाँ,
Haider, Sindh Baloch married Sachin Meena.
हाँ,
An
हाँ.
interesting.
ये अभी इंडिया में है. हाँ.
ठीक है, ठीक है. Yeah, there can be, but these are, not mass exoduses which we are
नहीं, नहीं.
talking about Bangladesh and all. These are one-off incidents which are happening. Yeah, they can be used for intelligence and surveillance
हाँ,
gathering.
हाँ.
Sir, this turmoil have created more unemployment and drug peddler through seas, which work ISI in other way around. What to do about it?
See,
Yeah,
drugs is spreading all the way from Afghanistan along Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and within Pak, the Pak ISI is using the drug money to fund terrorism and to be involved in creating influence to to sort of attack TTP and Baluch leaders in Balochistan and Afghanistan. So ISI is involved. The world is aware. These are drugs is something which is here to stay. Chahe it's coming into Kashmir, coming into Punjab. It is only to stop drugs unless the world gets together, unless there is pressure on nations from where it is moving, very difficult to stop. पर हमारे यहाँ वहाँ कहाँ नहीं है ईस्ट से भी drugs आ रहे हैं. If you look at Manipur today, one of the causes of the entire turmoil is drugs. So drugs is it is a global phenomena, very
Hmm.
difficult to stop. Though
Okay.
Taliban has been able to reduce drug production.
Some quick comments just to say first indication that Mirwais has asked for relief. Yes. Uh, this is also I mean, we have discussed this. Akbar
ठीक है.
Bukti's assassination led
हाँ,
to,
हाँ.
I had mentioned this. Yeah, Bhatia has asked a question. For India to make an impact in Balochistan, we need to have a strong support from Iran or
Correct.
Afghanistan. Physical
Absolutely right.
essential. We need to. Yeah, this point was also
This is what
discussed.
we said that, I mean,
Yeah,
once we raise it, automatically the world will join it.
correct. Uh, Again, a comment. Let me pat my back. Well said. This one, simmering instability in Pakistan is in India's interest. But this is important. Ask from a Longewala Easter, Balochistan is only 100 kilometers away. Smuggling could be done if people get their minds to it
Right.
and use
Drones
drones.
too
Just,
far to use to coordinate, and we
just
don't need to do anything because Afghanistan doors are open. They get
yeah,
all their weapons and equipment from there.
correct. Uh, okay, this is something which China is already attempting to find options away from CPEC by buying Bindu. Uh, True, and they are also investing a lot in Afghanistan now. Especially along the
They want to, but they haven't yet begun because they are still insecure.
Amu Darya is one area where they have bought the rights from Afghanistan, and
But they
Afghanistan is,
haven't yet moved
yeah,
anything there.
they haven't started, but they are bribing Afghanistan. I mean,
Ah,
they need the Afghan support, and their Afghans need the money. So I think there is a convergence of interest there. So later on, maybe in the long run, okay. This is again why I am flashing these is generally so that our audience
see,
later on.
this is something wrong because as far as China is concerned, it is looking to find its own route to Afghanistan and not linking the CPEC.
Mhm.
So it is
So what I
looking at working its own direct route into Afghanistan. So it is likely from there.
So why I'm also flashing these comments is that they add up to our overall discussion, and
Chalo.
later on, those who are
Uh,
listening to the podcast, they can pause and see these things.
uh,
Great. Okay, then we have Samrat again asking a question: can the Indian Navy provide support to Balochistan given
no,
its
you can't.
coastline, despite the absence
No,
of land?
no, it's not possible. Not possible.
Actually,
It's
there has been a study done. There are very limited landing areas for doing anything like this in
no.
this
You
particular.
see, you cannot do an invasion there because you are way off in terms of connection of linking up.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
You cannot launch an operation without a link up, and
yeah.
link
So
up is too far for you to do.
our land forces are unlike.
Correct.
I said unless Sindh is in your pocket, you can't do
Yeah,
anything,
you
right?
can't do anything.
Yeah. Okay, sir, please answer. Are they Islamic motivated or
They're
revolutionary
a mix
left?
of both. They are Islamic motivated, there is no doubt about it, and they're also revolutionary. It's a
But
mix of
technically, nationalist first, Islamic later. That's the
correct.
way. That's the way
Yeah,
they are.
because you see, that is one of the areas where the Hindu population has been minimum affected.
And safely. I mean, they were
And
very
very
safe
safe.
in that part.
So it
They
is
were very
more of
safe in that.
revolutionary.
Yeah, but they were very safe in that part of the
Ah,
country. The last question we are taking is: do you envision a Bangladesh 2.0,
no,
which
you
you
see, the
already are?
point is, whatever they do there, we cannot do anything as far as this is concerned. But the way Pakistan is acting, it is creating an anger within, which is creating an uprising within.
I mean,
And as the uprising goes back to us, it's only going to lead to the breakup or actually add on to major problems within.
see, they are, I think, digging their own grave. So
Correct.
that is one thing which we have to be which we have to be mindful of.
Huh.
Let us see how the situation pans out. But definitely, I would like to put on record here that situation in Balochistan is close to anarchy as of today.
Correct.
And if Pakistan continues to do what Jan Gakkar said of using repressive means creating more number of militants, more number of people who are believing in violence against a counter violence. So you will find that kind of a scenario playing out, and which will be dangerous for Pakistan, besides creating instability, which may lead to some other side effects as well. With that, sir, thank you very much. I think we'll end the broadcast here with our usual request to our audience: please like, subscribe. We have to reach a particular level of support from you so that we get motivated to give you some more very interesting discussion on geopolitics and geostrategy. Thank you very much to all our audience. Salam, namaskar, and
Okay.
sasriyakal.
Thank you. Thank you.